This portion of the training covers just your basic text and image pages. Every page on your site has this template. You can use all the controls, you can use some of them, they're all optional, and we're going to run through how to add your main images, smaller images, and your text as well. We'll also talk about how to put in sidebars here. Okay, the first thing you want to do is go to Content, Edit on the page, and this is on any page of your site from the front end when you're logged into the CMS. You'll find these content buttons and you can edit them right there on the site. Okay, it's going to default to the Content tab, which is your main content tab. You can see there's other tabs. There's one for Sidebar. There's a Metadata tab, Menu Settings, Content 1 and 2, Content 3, and Files. Files is where you're going to upload your main hero image or hero images if you're having a slideshow. You can upload unique ones using this upload field, or you can select ones from your main image library that is controlled at the Lindsay.com level. I'm going to add 2 images for a slideshow on this page from the main image library. I do this by select slideshow images, and you can see this is what we refer to as a picker. It's a rectangle with a down arrow. Click on that. Okay, and you notice you have 2 options here. You can pick from images that have been labeled irrigation or images that have been labeled transportation. I'm going to look for the Zomatic 9500, so I'm just going to type in 9500, and it's going to sort all the images that have 9500. And there are 3 down here that I want to use for the hero image, and these actually have been sized to fit in the hero image. I'm going to select this one, and this one. These are the 3 images I want to show up in my main image slideshow. Now, but I want this one to be first. So when you have this hand here, you simply click and you drag it to reorder it. Now that one is first. You can reorder all these the way you see fit. Be sure to click Save Related Items when you're in this image picker window. It's all the way at the bottom if you pick an image closer to the top of the edit screen. Now you can see that you have these 3 images here. If any time you want to delete those images, you don't have to go back in and uncheck them. You can simply highlight this and click Delete. This next field is your slide interval, and this is the timing it takes for your slides to change out. We're going to change this to 5 seconds. And if I want to have captions for that main image area, that is the white overlay text in the top left of the image, I can put them here. And each line represents the caption. So if there's 3 images, you put the caption on 3 different lines. So we'll say test caption 1, test caption 2, and test caption 3. Now if you want to make those link to a page, you simply put in that link URL after the caption. So it's going to be comma separated. So I have test caption 1, comma, and then I put in the URL. Now when entering URLs, if I'm linking to a page within my site, I can do one of 2 things. I can just put in the relative link, which is everything after the .com. So if I am linking to lindsayturkey.com/about, I would put in /about, and that's going to be the link. You can also put in what we refer to as a link macro. Every CMS, I'm going to go back to the content tab here, every CMS page and edit screen or content type has a CMS ID number. In this case it's 1294. Okay, I'm going to go back to my Files tab, and if I want to use a link macro, it just means that you're going to always be linking that page that has that content ID number. I would put in pound the CMS ID number, so 1294, if that was the CMS ID number, pound. And then that will link to that particular page. If you want to link to an external URL, put in the full URL with the HTTP on. So http://www.lindsay.com. Okay, I'm not using links for these images now, so I'm going to delete that and just keep in the 3 test captions. Alright, and just for purposes of showing you, I'm going to set this to 3 seconds, and I'm going to click save so you can see those images. I'm going to go back to Content Edit for the History of Lindsay Turkey page, and I'm going back to my Files tab. And if I did not want to use images from the main image library, I could upload as many unique images in this Upload Slideshow Images field there, and you can see it opens up your Finder to find the files that you want. This dragging to the image titles to sort them in the order that you want once they've been uploaded works here as well. So that is another option. I would recommend that you, for your main image library, use images that you're going to know you're going to be using on multiple pages, or that will be used on several sites like the Lindsay corporate site, or a foreign language site, or a business unit like Lindsay China. If you know it's going to be used on your site, but also on that other business unit or foreign language site, then use those image libraries, upload those images to that master image library. If not, just simply upload unique images if it's just going to be a one-time thing. Okay? Alright, I'm going to go back to my Content tab. And you can see here you have a few different controls. The first one being status. And status, you indicate whether that page is published, set to preview, or unpublished. Published means the general public can see it. Preview means only you can see it when you're logged into the CMS. So if anybody is logged into the CMS, they will see it on the front end of your site, but the general public will not. This is a great tool. I'm going to set it to preview here. This is a great tool to use when you are working on content. You want to see how it looks on your site, but you're not ready for it to go live. Set it to preview, and then you log into the CMS and you'll be able to see it. When you have something set to preview, the edit buttons on the page are going to be green. Okay, so you can see now instead of being a red content button, I have a green content button indicating that that is set to preview. If you want to, you can always go here, content, instead of clicking edit, I can click publish. I'll get a, are you sure you want to publish this content? And say okay. And it is now back to red, which means it is published. I'm going to go back to content edit. And the third option here is unpublished. Unpublished means that it cannot be seen on the front end of the site, even if you're logged into the CMS, but it's still stored in the database. And it can be accessed through your Do Stuff interface, which we will cover in another training. The next field is your Use Custom Template, and we're going to cover all these in another training, but I just want to touch on it briefly. This one is set to the default text images page, so this is just simply a default text/image or slideshow page. Alright, I have my title. This is the title that displays at the top of the page below your main image area if there is a main image. This is also known as your H1, your main header. And this carries a lot of weight with your search engine optimization. So I highly recommend that you try to be as descriptive as possible in describing what is on this page using that title. Now, if it's a longer title and you don't want that long title to show up in the menu, if this is a page that shows up in your navigation, you have a separate field for menu title. So you can see here I have it, History of Lindsay Turkey, and then I have the menu title, History. So History of Lindsay Turkey is going to display on the page, but in the menu it's just going to say History. This sort field is the order in which that content type it displays. So under About, I could have several pages, and you would sort them with this field, the order you want them to show up in your navigation. This one I have showing up first, but I have it set to 10, and that's because I recommend that you sort in intervals of 10. So for 1, 2, 3, 4, it would be 10, 20, 30, 40. This way, if you need to add a page in between two, you can simply set it to 15, and you don't have to go back and resort all of them. But there is an easy way to resort under the Do Stuff Edit Site menu that we'll cover in another training as well. The abstract field is the text that we will display on a parent page in the navigation. And what I mean by that is, if this is history of Lindsay Turkey that shows up under the About Lindsay, and the About Lindsay page is set to be a list page in the template, and I'll go and show you that, then it's going to display an abstract for all of those pages. It's also going to display a thumbnail if you have a main image selected. It'll just compress that main image in your Files tab. It'll compress it, the first one that you choose if it's a slideshow, and show it on that page. So I'm going to put in some text here, and I'm going to click Save. And notice it's not showing up here. That's because it shows up on the parent page in the nav. In this case, it's about Lindsay Turkey. Now, right now, Lindsay Turkey is set to, I'm going to go to Content Edit for About Lindsay Turkey. You can see that it's set to use Custom Template Default Text Image Template. If I want it to display a brief abstract, the text from the abstract field, and any image from that image page, that image for that main page, I change this to List. And I'm going to put in some content here in the main content field. This is the page that's the content that displays on your page underneath the title, your H1. Click Save, and I'm on the About Lindsay page. And you can see, I'm going to hit Escape so you can see all this. Anytime you hit Escape in the CMS, all your CMS edit controls go away. Hit Escape again to bring them back. Be sure to bring them back before you log out. If you ever log in and they're not there, troubleshoot by pressing Escape and then refresh just to make sure that you logged out when it was set to escape. Okay, so now that this is a list page, you can see that my main page title is showing up here, the content that I put in that content field, and then the list of all the pages in this navigation, history and careers. You can see that it pulled in a smaller version of that main image on the History of Lindsay Turkey page, and that text I put in for the abstract. And it will link to that History of Lindsay Turkey page that we've been editing. Okay, careers right now, I'm going to go back to About Lindsay Turkey. Careers right now is not showing an image or any abstract because I don't have a main image selected for the careers page. And I also don't have any content in the abstract field. I'm going to go back to my History of Lindsay Turkey. I hit Escape to bring back my CMS edit controls. We have those 3 slides that we put in with their captions. The caption is optional, remember, you don't have to do that. Okay, so I'm going to go back to Content, Edit, and now I want to control the main text that appears on that page. Okay, and that is going to be the main text that displays under the main hero image area. That's the text we just added. Now, let's say I want to have, you have the option for 3 smaller images and text blocks that you can do here. This is optional. You don't have to do it, but if you want to use those, you go to Content Edit, and then you go to your Content 1 and 2 or your Content 3 tabs. We'll start with 1 and 2. I can either select an image, or I can go in and upload a unique image. I'm going to upload a unique image this time so you can see how that works. Now this is not a slideshow option, this is just a single image. I have a test images here. And I'm going to pull in this image. Alright, and then I want to have some text associated with that. And let's say you wanted to have a header section for that, describing what that is. I would put that in, highlight it, and then put in section subheader. Or I could put in section header as well for my H2. Section subheader is going to be your H3. Now let's take a look at how that looks. Okay, so now I have this. You can see that it resizes the image proportionally. Since this is a rectangle, it's going to resize it as a rectangle. I have my title there that I put in and the text. Now if I want to put in 2 more of these, I go back to my Content 1 and 2 tab. This time I'm going to select an image for that Content 2 block from this show, from this library. And I'm going to click 9500 again. And this time I want it to display this image. Scroll down, hit Save Related Items. And the image caption field, these images are not big enough to have captions, but you can put in the URLs, links, if you need them to link. Same thing that we talked about earlier. If it's on your site, a page, just simply put in everything after the .com, the / on, or that macro, that link macro we talked about, pound, CMS ID number, pound. And then I'm going to put in some text here. Hit Save. And you can see that this one, since it was more of a square image, it proportionally matches that image as well. I did not put in a header that time using my formatter, but you can do that if you need to. And then there's a third block, if you want to add a third block there, where you would do the same thing. Okay, I'm going to go in and delete these for now. For this image that was uploaded, I simply select the delete checkbox. And then for this image that's selected from the library, I just highlight that and hit delete there. And I'm going to hit save. And you can see that that area, all that text and those images are gone now. All right, let's say I wanted to put in just a larger image here in my formatter. I could do that by going to the main content tab. I'm going to put in my line break where I want the image to display. And then I'm going to hit this image icon. Now, this is your formatter tool. I'm going to do a separate training video covering how to use this formatter tool. But you can simply go in here, select the image that you want it to use, click on that picker icon, and go in and find that image that you want to use, and you can upload it there as well. Okay, like I said, I'm going to cover the formatter and how to use images in another training. If you want to do that, you can watch that training after this one. Okay, so let's say we want to have some sidebar options on this page. I go to my sidebar tab. You have just a basics open content area where you can type in content for your sidebar, unique content. You can put images like we talked about. Of course, those are going to want to be smaller. You can do some sizing in here as long as you're downsizing and not upsizing with your formatter. Or you can go in and select from your list of all your sidebar CTAs and sidebar widgets. I click on that picker icon, and you can see there's a full list of different sidebar CTAs. And you have, let's say I want to have the In the News. The In the News is a unique sidebar widget that displays on your page, and it pulls in the 3 latest news events if you have a news section. And to be honest with you right now, the In the News, I need to make sure that is published. I'm going to go do a search for it, and there it is. So I select that. I'm going to delete that search to bring up my other one. So I have my In the News showing up, and then I want to go in and put in maybe a video, a sidebar video that I've created. I select that, but I want my In the News to come first. You can also see you can put in related products. You can also put in related documents, and we're going to have another training video, a separate one that you can watch, all about creating the sidebar widgets. But you can go in and just select any product that you create is going to show up in here if it's a individual product. Now, categories or series are not, but if it's an individual product, it will show up as a list here if you want to put in those related products. So right now I just have my In the News and the video. You can notice that I have my hand and I can sort these. And I'll have my video actually show first. Be sure to click Update and click Save. You can create unique sidebars that are just open content areas where you can put in images, titles, links, text, and those will all show up there. You can create related document ones where you upload documents, brochures, whatever type of document you want to have. You have your in the news. You also have a contact one. Let me add that contact one so you can see that as well. I'm going to my sidebar. And this one's called Let's Talk, the contact CTA. Click Update and click Save. All right, I'm going to hit Escape to take away my CMS controls. I have the video. I have the in the news, which shows the 3 latest news items, and then I have this Let's Talk contact form that you can place on pages. These are all optional, but you can see that they're displaying in the order that I had them sorted there. Okay, I'm going to hit Escape, Content, Edit, and your Metadata tab. This is the tab that carries, that's going to be very important for your SEO, your search engine optimization. And what we have here is 4 fields. The first one being your page title, your meta description, your meta keywords, and your link name. The page title is different from this title that actually displays on the page. The page title is the page title that is given to the spots that index your site when they're doing search engine. So when they're going out Google's going out and indexing your site, they are going to put the most weight on 3 areas. This title, your H1 we talked about earlier. I'm going back to the menu settings, the metadata tab. And then your page title, that is the one that shows up here at the top of your browser in some browsers, not all browsers, but I'm in Firefox, so it does show it. And then also your friendly link name. You can see that you have something here. It's defaulting to your title here. If there's nothing put in your metadata tab for these 2 fields, they automatically default to the title of your page. So this one is called History of Lindsay Turkey. So your link name is called History of Lindsay Turkey. And whenever there's a space, it'll put in that dash. Same here, your meta title is called History of Lindsay Turkey. But if we want to have unique content there, this is where you do that. And here with your page title, the one that shows up, you have about 66 characters, and I would say try to be as descriptive as possible about the content on that page. You're going to want to use the search terms and keywords that people use to search for that content on the page. Think about a concise, almost thesis-like statement that brings in those search terms, and use that as your description of that page. That is going to be your page title. So I'm going to put in just test content for the meta title. Alright, now I'm going to change the link name. I want this to be called History. I'm sorry, you don't need to put in the /, it'll automatically generate that. Just History, let's say. Now, link name does carry a lot of weight. For the purpose of just showing you how this works, I'm going to put in just a short name here. But your link name does carry a lot of weight, so you can be a little more descriptive there to try to describe what that is about. So you might want to say History of Lindsay Turkey, Irrigation and Transportation Solutions, or something that puts in some descriptive keywords for that page. Now you also probably don't want it to be too long because it is your link name, but I'll let you all decide where it works best there. So as you can see now, I'm going to hit save. And now this is history. There's another history that exists, and I have to go in and delete it. So that's why I put the -1, and then it has test content for the meta title. Okay? I'm going to go back to my content edit for this page. And we're going to go look under metadata tab again, and you can see that we have these options here. This is going to be covered in another training. This is when you, like language sites, will go in and put in industry sectors, so irrigation solutions or transportation solutions, and then certain content types can be assigned to those different solutions. We'll cover that in a future training. Your menu settings tab. This is where you're going to put in, if you need that page to actually redirect to another page, you have a redirect path where if you're linking off to a external website, you put in the full URL, HTTP on, or you can put in, if you're linking to a page within your site, everything after the .com. If you can also just put in the CMS number here. So if the page was CMS ID number was 1023, you would put that there. And it would automatically link that to that page instead. And here there is a note about do not edit anything below this line. This is a tab that we normally don't open, so if you could keep that, just edit these two fields, that would be great. There's only certain scenarios where you're going to need to put in redirect paths, where if I went and clicked on the history of Lindsay or history under this in the menu here on this page, it would take me to that another page. So that is going to be used in specific scenarios. So these are the only two fields in this tab that you would want to edit. We've talked about the content 1 and 2, we've talked about content 3, and then we've talked about most of the files tab. Anytime you upload PDFs directly to the page, or those images that we talked about where you can use the formatter to do them, they'll show up under your files here. And you also have the option to put in a unique logo that would display, in this scenario, below the Lindsay Turkey logo. So in certain language sites that want to just have a section dedicated to Zomatic products, they could upload a Zomatic logo and would have both the Lindsay Turkey and the Zomatic logo there in the left sidebar. Okay, that covers everything for your basic page, text, image page. Be sure to watch the other videos.